Lee here. This is my follow-up video to the one I did of Prince Rogers Nelson's love pattern. And his love pattern is an achievement triangle, or what's known as a T-square. It is his Venus love pattern. In that other video, which I'll link in the description, there are 3 layers of love, or 3 octaves of love in astrology. So I started with his Venus, which is the first octave, and his pattern for Venus is quite a common pattern. It's estimated that this pattern is in 40% of charts. And in that video, I said I would do a step-by-step guide to show you how to find if you have this pattern in your chart. And I'm going to make this for those of you who have 0 experience of astrology and working with the chart. But even if you are someone who is experienced at astrology, but not so experienced with patterns, the aspects and patterns, this may also be of use for you too. I'm going to use my favorite go-to free website resource for astrology charts, and I will use Prince's chart as the example to show you how to find if you have this pattern. I'll then also show you my chart quickly so you have like a comparison. Then I will include a couple of other resources, online free astrology chart websites, in case the one that I use and find most intuitive doesn't resonate for you. You can check out these other 2 options and see if they work for you better. Okay, let's dive in. This is my favorite website to use that is free, and as you can see, it is astro-seek.com. And this is the landing page. What you'll want to do is actually set up an account, which is really quick to do following this sign up. And I'll follow the link so I can show you. You can choose a nickname that you want to use, put in a password, your email, your birth details, and where you are currently living. And then obviously putting in the things so it knows that you're not a robot, and it's that simple. This is where you'll come to once you're in, and this is the menu, and you're going to want to go to my private Astro database, which is where everything is stored. I have Prince's data already in my database. I haven't reached the limit of the amount of people I can save in my database, but I think you can actually have up to 100 different people stored in your database, and you don't get charged. You have that free. All you have to do is select the person from your database, which is probably going to be you. If you're brand new, you'll probably only have your own details in there, and you want to hit calculate chart. And this is what you'll get when you bring up a chart, and this is Prince's chart. What we're concentrating on here is the middle of the chart, where all of the lines of energy, all the conversations that are going on between the points and planets in the heavens at his time of birth, this is where they're captured. I call this the sacred geometry at the heart of the chart. If you've watched the other video, you'll know that this here, following this red line, and then this red line, and then this red line, making a triangle, this is Prince's achievement triangle, also known as a T-square, which is his strongest Venus pattern. So this is Venus here. Luckily, this is a symbol most people are familiar with. It is a symbol for women or females. It is also the Venus symbol for the planet. I'm going to go through 3 ways that you can figure out if you have an achievement triangle. The first is what we've just done, which is to look at the center of the chart and see if you have a red triangle that is made up of 2 points that are opposite each other and meeting at a focal point in the middle to make a red triangle. To delve into the detail of this triangle, scroll down. You will find that it has the angles of the chart. They come up first and then you get to the planets, and this is where you want to be, where the planets are. And what you want to do is look for an opposition, which is the 2 points directly opposite one another, and you're also looking for squares. If we go down to Princess Venus, we will find an opposition to Neptune and a square to Uranus. So that's 2 points in the achievement triangle. Then we want to see, okay, well, are Uranus and Neptune connected in this way as well? So we go further down to find Uranus, and sure enough, Uranus is also square Neptune, making this achievement triangle. This is the second way you can find whether you have an achievement triangle. You're scrolling down this list to look for an opposition and a square, and then looking at the third point to see if that is also a square to one of the other 2 planets, therefore making a triangle. The third way to look into the achievement triangle or T-square is to go here to this tab, which is a table of the aspects. So we go here and look for Venus. This is Venus. Go down and we can see there's a square, and this is a symbol for Uranus. And here's the opposition to, this is the symbol for Neptune. So then we can also immediately see that there is also the square between Uranus and Neptune. So this is the third way. Depending on whether you're more of an analyst or a visual person, it all depends which way you find the easiest to discover if you have a T-square. And just to give you a different example, every chart is different. This is my chart. And you can see that the T-square in my chart is super obvious. In Prince's chart, it's a bit more difficult to spot, but in mine, it pretty much jumps out at you. You may be somewhere between the two. It may be really clear to see in your chart, or it may be a bit more difficult like it is in Prince's chart. What is an achievement triangle? It is an energetic signature. It's essentially the vibrations of the constituent planets or points in the triangle that give the flavor of what this energetic signature is. First is an opposition, so 180 degrees apart from each other. So if you imagine it's like a dining table and you've got 2 people sitting exactly opposite one another, and as it kind of implies, it's like a line of tension. And then you have the person that is sitting at 90 degrees to both of those people or points in the table, and they become the focal point or the mediator of the energies that these 2 bring to the table. So the next thing you want to do is look at, okay, so what are the characters and flavor of the 3 points in my achievement triangle or T-square? The first one in Prince's case is Venus. The second is Neptune. So Venus and Neptune are opposite each other. What does that mean? How do you find out what it means for you in your chart? Helpfully, this site also goes into that for you. Let's scroll down to Venus. And here you can see we have a write-up of the sign that Venus is in, which is Taurus, and what that means, the house she is in and what that means. So just quickly, for those of you brand new to astrology, the planet is the what, the sign is the how, the house is the where, so which part of life this influence is in. So Venus, for Prince, Venus was in Taurus and in his 6th house. Venus is at home in Taurus. That is one of the signs that she rules. For yourself, you can go to the first planet in your triangle and read what these influences are for the planet, the sign, and the house. And then the first aspect that you're looking at, which is the opposition to Neptune. And you'll find a description of that in here as well. Venus opposition Neptune. And that gives you another part of the story. So let's have a look at this and see if we can see Prince in this. Wow. And that last line, for artists, this aspect brings inspiration, creativity, imagination, and very good taste. Wow. Yeah. Hopefully you will find this as astrology as delightful to go through as I do. It's a language. It's a language, and these are basically sentences that are being put together to make the story. So what you want to do to understand your own achievement triangle or T-square is to delve into each point and make notes. What does Venus and Taurus in the 6th house mean, which we just covered? What does Neptune in Scorpio in the 12th house mean? And don't worry if you don't know what all the symbols are, they're just here to the side. So you can look to the menu on the right to figure out which planet it is that you're looking at. What does Neptune and Scorpio in the 12th house mean? And then the focal point, Uranus in this case, and in Leo in the 9th house. What does that mean? And I actually go through all of these 3 points in the other video where I touch on what this means for Prince. In the video that I'll link in the description below, I show how this chart of Prince's turns into this, a light song of his Venus vibration. And then here is my chart and my light song from my Venus achievement triangle or T-square. Just as an example of how the light songs can be very different for different people. For those people that are already into astrology that are watching this, I now just want to touch on how I determine which is the strongest pattern for a planet. So in this case, Venus was the focal point. What I'll do is I'll go and look at the list of aspects for Venus and see which is the strongest. And in Prince's case, the strongest was the square to Uranus, 0 degrees 55 minutes applying. And then I look at, okay, is this forming a joined up pattern with other planets? And helpfully the opposition to Neptune is right below it. And on top of that, I can actually see that this is the strongest point because that is a really thick red line, and I can see that it's joined to Neptune and then back to Venus. I can't see actually any other joined up pattern to this strong square. You have to really look into the pattern, into this bundle of energetic lines to pick out the patterns. Yes, I can't see any others, and in fact when you go back down here there are very few aspects, like it's just Uranus and Neptune. Going down to have a look at the detail confirms what I can see, which is there doesn't seem to be any other joined up pattern. Now I'm going to share another 2 options for free astrology chart websites for those who are new. This one is for those of you who are aesthetically minded. This site creates really beautiful looking charts, and this is the home page, and I've put in Prince's details here to use as the example. So all you have to do is put in your details and create a chart. And here is what it looks like. There's a lot of, bundle of patterns in here. And while this is better looking, it's a lot more difficult to figure out the patterns, in my opinion. Just going to scroll down so you can see what it gives you. Placements, the aspects, an option to get a report which you pay for, and then it goes into the patterns, and here we have the T-square or the achievement triangle that we were looking at. Now this site is different in the colors that it uses. The convention is to use a red color for oppositions, whereas this is showing a blue color for the opposition. Just a note for you, that this site uses non-conventional colors in some cases. Okay, so that is Astro Charts as another option for you to explore. This is the 3rd option, which is astro.com. And I would say that along with Astro-Seek, this is one of the most popular. Although it can be a bit overwhelming because there are so many options and so many ways in. I personally use Astro-Seek mainly, and then I will come in here if I want to look for asteroids in particular, or particularly look at asteroids. Astro-Seek also has asteroids, but it's got a limited selection, whereas this site has all of them available for you to look up. The way to go in here is, this is the landing page. Go into free horoscopes and then go to charts and data, and then you can choose from one of these options. Most people would start with the chart drawing, the simple birth chart. When I mentioned that I come in here for asteroids, I go into this extended chart, which is where it has the whole list of asteroids available and other things as well. But for this, we're just going to go simple and basic and go into chart drawing. So I've gone in and extracted Prince's chart from the astro.com site to show you what their chart looks like. All in one, you have the horoscope, the list of details, and then also the aspect table. To sum up, you have this chart as an option, this chart as an option from astro-seek.com, or the astrocharts.com option, whichever works for you. We all have very different energetic signatures made of different colors, different patterns, and this is what I bring to life from the heart of the astrology chart. I hope you found this useful, and you can use these principles to find any pattern in your astrological and celestial makeup. Bye for now, from my heart's light. to yours.